Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. It's that time of the week again, it's Premier League predictions time. Another round of exciting and intriguing Premier League encounters are almost upon us for this weekend. After what has already been a ferocious week of football already, we are in a period of non-stop football, people. It is literally game after game after game after game coming at you thick and fast, and I absolutely am loving and adoring it. Even if my own team of Liverpool Football Club are not doing that well right now, as a football fan, it is great to witness. And it obviously continues this weekend. Another round of exciting and intriguing Premier League encounters. And of course, this is the video where I'm going to try and predict each and every single outcome of this weekend. So, fingers crossed and good luck to me. But before we get into all of that, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. And of course, I encourage you all to get involved yourselves. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, on all of the games coming up this weekend in England's top flight division. But of course, above all, I want to know your predictions. Where would a Premier League predictions video be after all without predictions? So please do feel free to get involved down below. Use and abuse that comment section, people, and talk to me on how you think each and every single game will turn out. And we will now get on with the video, shall we? We're going to kick things off. We're going to jump a little bit ahead to one of the 3 o'clock games on Saturday. And it comes at us from the Vitality Stadium, where Bournemouth will be taking on Chelsea. Now, the past few weeks have been a reality check for both of these teams, really. For Bournemouth, the wheels have kind of came off their season a little bit, riding high, so high, off of the opening several game weeks, big match days, big wins here and there, some big points earned, climbing up the table, and then they suffered with a bit of vertigo. They suffered with a bit of a scare and a fear of heights, because the past few weeks they've collapsed. They've capitulated at Bournemouth. As far as Chelsea go, they know exactly what that feels like. They went from title contenders after a 1-1 draw with Arsenal last Sunday to being in the mud and embarrassed and dealt a major reality check by Leeds United on Wednesday night. So life comes at you fast. It's been a bit of a yo-yo roller coaster of a week as far as what Chelsea Football Club are concerned. But this game is interesting. Bournemouth have been a bit of a bogey side for Chelsea in the past, and if there's ever a team and ever a moment to try and obviously get back to winning ways and try and get some form back in the side and some confidence back into the side, Chelsea could potentially be your ticket to that. That's not to say that Chelsea are going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. We know that they can be difficult on their day. But they just seem to have this issue right now, Chelsea, of for the big games, they seem to be fine with. For the big games, there's a lot more confidence in them games than there is in the games that are against the teams that are either in and around them or below them. And with all due respect to Bournemouth, they are somewhat below them. So this could be a very difficult and tricky game for Chelsea to navigate past. It is definitely a big banana skin waiting to happen. Now, in saying that, that means that I'm not going to be surprised if Bournemouth win. I wouldn't also be surprised if Chelsea win either. And let's be honest, if there was to be a winner, that would probably be where my money would be put on this particular game. But I'm going to call it down the middle. I think this is a good opportunity for Bournemouth. I think after 3 games in 3 weeks of high intensity, and I know that obviously Bournemouth are feeling the same way as well, but I think this is a good opportunity for Bournemouth to get something back in their system, and especially being at home as well. I do feel like this could be a good opportunity for Bournemouth to get a point on the board, steady the ship a little bit, steady things, and move on from there. So I'm going 2-2 come the final whistle. I'm going for a Desmond here. Next up, Everton taking on Nottingham Forest. And I've gone with a 1-1 draw. I genuinely can't... I can't tell you what Everton team is going to turn up here. This Everton team are very inconsistent and very awkward. So much so the Forest team could be said of exactly the same thing, to be honest with you. So I don't really know which teams are going to turn up for either team, how the results are going to go. I wouldn't be surprised whichever way the result goes in this one. I'm sticking with 1-1. I'm sticking with 1-1. Look, Everton could very well win it. Wouldn't be shocked. Forest could very well win it. Wouldn't be shocked. They both have the capabilities. They both have the teams to do so. Everton have had an up and down couple of weeks. Forest have had an up and down couple of weeks. I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know. But one thing I do know is that Sean Dyche will be returning to his old club of Everton. Goodison Park will... Well, not even Goodison Park anymore, is it? Not Goodison Park anymore. That is something that I'm going to have to get out the habit of. I keep wanting to call it Goodison Park. But Everton will welcome him back. I genuinely don't know. I'm sticking with 1-1. I'm sticking with 1-1. Let's go 1-1. Next up, this one should be an absolute cracker in my opinion. The Etihad Stadium plays host to Manchester City versus Sunderland, and I've gone with a 3-2 win, a 5-goal thriller in favour of Pep Guardiola's side. Now, City have had a mad few games, an absolute insane past few games. Of course, losing to Newcastle, losing to Bayer Leverkusen, they managed to get back to winning ways against Leeds, but albeit rather in very unconvincing fashion, shall we say. Going 2-0 up, bottling the lead to 2-2, managing to get a last gasp winner through Phil Foden, who has seemingly rediscovered the best form of Phil Foden, so fair play to him. And then on Tuesday night, things seemed to be going swimmingly for City, and then all of a sudden there was almost a complete capitulation of the most insane collapse ever. From 5-1, Fulham managed to claw it back to 5-4 and almost managed to get something from that game, even though it seemed impossible. But that 9-goal thriller was absolutely entertaining and absolutely brilliant to watch play out for our Tuesday night entertainment. Sunderland, I'm sure, will have seen that game and will be taking some sort of encouragement, shall we say, from that. They can definitely get something here. I know they are away from home. I know it's City. I know they've got the players and the individuals to do so. But if I'm a Sunderland player right now, I'm looking at this game and I'm going, we can give them a good run for their money here. We can definitely do that. I do think the individual talent, the form of the likes of Erling Haaland and Phil Foden might just be enough to get City over the finish line. But again, I don't necessarily think it'll be the most convincing. And I just think that Sunderland will give them a real good go here. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they play this one and how City plays this one. I think this could be a very, very good game to watch this weekend, full of goals. So I'm going 3-2. I'm sticking with that prediction. We shall see how that turns out. Next up, St James's Park awaits the arrival of Burnley as the Magpies take on Scott Parker's side. I've gone 2-0 Newcastle. Newcastle have picked up a bit of form in recent weeks. Kind of bottled it a little bit against Tottenham in midweek, but they have got a point to show for their efforts. And like I say, they're just not quite getting a little bit of the luck. A little bit of luck right now. There are some other things as well. Maybe, maybe there is a little bit of staleness that crept in a little bit. Maybe there was a little bit of unfortunate in terms of luck and injuries and things like that. But for the most part, Newcastle, I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like it is slowly going through the gears. Just slowly going through the gears. And they are starting to warm up a little bit after what had been, by their standards, a considerable slow start to the season. They're coming against Burnley, a favourable opponent. You'd probably call it as a Newcastle win right off the bat if you were to just take these two teams at face value. Does that mean there's no hope for Burnley whatsoever in this game? Of course not. Of course not. Nothing's ever a foregone conclusion, especially in the Premier League. But if Burnley are to cause Newcastle some problems, they're going to have to be very physical in midfield. They're going to have to match up to the physicality that Newcastle have. They're going to have to be quick, direct, and they're going to have to hit their chances when they fall to them. They're going to have to try and keep Nick Voltermader quiet, which is easily said than done. It's going to be a challenge for Burnley. It's going to be a very big challenge, but one that I think they will not be able to pass and live up to. Newcastle win. Newcastle get the 3 points. That is what I'm going for here. Next up. Oh, this is going to be good. Tottenham Hotspur take on Brentford at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and I've gone 2-1 Brentford. Now, I'm not entirely confident with this because I do think Spurs can potentially get something. But if they don't, I would not want to be a Spurs fan. I would not want to be Thomas Frank. I would not want to be a Spurs player at the end of this. Because if Tottenham lose again, the heat on all of those elements and the club will be nuclear. Things are already spiralling out of control. Things are already turning sour. And a loss to Brentford could tip a lot of people over the edge. Now, Spurs, of course, can win this game. There's no doubt about it. But their home form is pretty poor. Terrible, in fact. God-awful. Abysmal. Shambolic. Dreadful. All of these words combined. They are terrible out at home. Brentford, we know on their day, can be difficult to beat. We know that Igor Thiago is in good goal-scoring form. We know that Kevin Schade can be a tricky customer for any defence to contain. I wouldn't be surprised if Brentford win. That's all I'm going to say. I wouldn't be surprised if Brentford win. And the aftermath, if they do win, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to watch from a from a Tottenham perspective. But that doesn't say that Tottenham can't get anything out of this game. Of course they can. Of course they can. Even if it is through probably one of the worst overhead kicks I've seen in Premier League history from Christian Romero. But it went in regardless, and he managed to save them a point. And if anyone had him on FPL this week, I'm sure you're absolutely loving the fact that Romero got 2 goals in one game. Yeah, absolute madness. Absolute madness. But there you have it. Next up, we're moving on to Saturday's evening fixture. And oh my God, Elland Road. Elland Road awaits the arrival of Liverpool. Leeds United versus Liverpool. Daniel Farke versus Arne Slot. I've gone 2-1 Liverpool. This should be more than that. This should be a comfortable win. It should be a comfortable win, but I just know it won't be. It should be a very comfortable win for the Premier League champions and for a side that spent 450 odd million in the summer, right? This should be a comfortable win. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not confident. I am not confident going into this game. I could easily see Leeds United winning this one by a single goal to nil. I think they did do that a few years ago when they were back in the Prem. I feel like they did do that, and I feel like it cost us our home record, or a certain record anyway. I think that was the case. And it was absolutely horrible, if memory serves me correctly. I think it was Leeds, but I don't know if I'm getting the scoreline right. Yeah, I think this could be horrible again. I'm backing Liverpool. I'm backing us to get the job done. But Jesus Christ, I am not confident. And I shouldn't be feeling that way. I should be feeling very confident going into a game against Leeds. Especially as the Premier League champions. Especially as we spent so much money in the summer. But here I am, not feeling confident. And I'm not feeling confident because I don't trust the manager. And the fact that Leeds are coming into this game riding high off of the fact that they just went and thumped Chelsea 3-1. So, yeah. Fingers crossed. It's just hope, fingers crossed, and a whole lot of Oh my God, I can't believe I'm having to watch this on Saturday. Fingers crossed we get the job done. But even if we do, I don't think it'll be that convincing, which is still obviously not as bad as losing the game as well, but still not good enough in my opinion, if that is to be the case. If we play well and we win, then brilliant. I'll be happy. I'll still call it for what it is. I'll be very happy, and I'll obviously revel in the moment. But until then, we shall see. We shall see. Brighton and Hove Albion take on West Ham in one of these Sunday clashes, and I've gone 3-1 to Brighton. West Ham picked up a big point against Manchester United on Thursday night. Brighton hit a collapse against Aston Villa in a huge 7-goal thriller that ended 4-3 in favour of the Villains. The Seagulls have been doing really well this season. They've kind of gone a bit under the radar, I feel like. At times it felt like they've been a bit hit and miss, but they're kind of in that cluster of teams where one win can leapfrog you really high up the table, but then a loss can take you really far down. So it's like they're doing well without necessarily doing well at times. It's a bit weird. It's a bit all clustery with like from 4th all the way down to 3rd all the way down to about 9th or 10th. It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. Maybe even a little bit further beyond. But yes, Brighton are one of those teams. West Ham are obviously battling relegation. It could be one of those things where West Ham managed to catch Brighton on an off day, which isn't that realms a possibility, given the fact that there are certain times where this Brighton side, where you do feel like maybe they do turn up in games and become the favourite, but they have this sort of mentality that they just can't quite live up to the hype of that game, live up to the hype of being favourites. For Brighton, though, I'm going with them to win. Better team, play the better football. I'm going with them to win. I'm going with Brighton to win. I think like they'll create more chances, take more of those chances, and they will defeat Nuno Espirito Santo's side. Next up, Craven Cottage awaits the arrival of Crystal Palace. And I've gone 2-0 Palace. Now, I'm not entirely confident with this one. Mainly because I think Fulham could score. The problem with Fulham is you never quite know which side's going to turn up. They are better at home than they are away. They do feed off that energy that the crowd gives them. But they are coming up against one of the best defences in the Premier League, outside of course, Arsenal. Palace don't concede that many goals. They are very, very good defensively. Very, very good. Fulham are just bizarre. Fulham are bizarre for... I mean, first and foremost, they're kind of going under the radar a little bit, I feel like. I don't feel like many people have thrown the spotlight on Fulham. But a big win against Tottenham last week, followed by just throwing caution to the wind against Manchester City and coming out with a 5-4 defeat in one of the most entertaining games of football I think I've ever witnessed. It's bizarre. It is bizarre. I'm going with Palace. I just think they'll have enough and more in all different areas of the pitch. Defensively, they're solid. We know that they've got one of the best defensive records in the Premier League. Midfield, I think they're strong. They're balanced. They're very, very good there. So I think they'll be fine in that department. And I think in the attacking sense, even though Mateta continues to frustrate me on FPL, I just think they'll have enough there to take their chances when they fall to them. Even Daniel Munoz is scoring goals right now. So they'll have enough. They'll have enough to win the game, and I think they'll win it fairly comfortably. Next up, Wolverhampton Wanderers take on Manchester United in Monday night's game, and I've gone with a 1-0 win to Manchester United. Now, this one I was really struggling with. I was kind of leaning more towards a Man United win, Didn't know whether to go 1-0 or 2-1 to United. Maybe even 3-2. We could get another insane goals galore type fixture there. But then I was thinking, Wolves could snatch a point, you know. Wolves could snatch a point. Or even pick up their first win of the season. Now, it would be very Manchester United-like for that to happen. It would be very Manchester United-like for them to go away from home at Molineux and completely bottle it in embarrassing and humiliating fashion to allow a side that at the 15th attempt at trying this weekend have not won a game all season long. It would be very Manchester United-like for them to just hand Wolves their first win of the season. And if they do, I wouldn't want to be Ruben Amorim. I would not want to be Ruben Amorim in that moment. In saying all of that, and as much as I want that scenario to happen, because it would be funny, I think United win. I think United have more in certain areas. They have bigger match winners, individual talent, quality, all of that good stuff. Match winners. They have the individual side of this lockdown. So I think they'll get the job done. Do I necessarily think it'll be 1-0? Do I necessarily think United may get a clean sheet? Maybe, maybe not. But I still think United will get the 3 points regardless. I'm going 1-0. I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt that they do get a clean sheet. But here's praying that Wolves get the win. Because not only would it make things funny from rivals' perspective of United, but also, you know, the Wolves are rock bottom right now. They need something. They need something to try and inspire them that maybe they can pull off a great escape. And right now they're on course for the worst ever Premier League season on record, even beating Derby County's record. So fingers crossed that Wolves can pull something out the bag. And also, hopefully they can do it before they meet Liverpool on December 27th. Because I don't want to be that team to give them their first win either. So, fingers crossed they do it here instead. Fingers crossed. But we shall see. And finally, what I believe to be the biggest game of this round of fixtures, the main event of this Premier League weekend, comes directly from Villa Park. And it's the game that, ironically, kicks off this weekend. It is Aston Villa taking on Premier League leaders Arsenal. And I've gone for a Desmond 2-2. Now, I am not, again, entirely confident, but my gut is telling me that Arsenal drop points this weekend. My gut is telling me that this Aston Villa side that are scoring goals for fun, winning games, confidence is high. Something's telling me that this Aston Villa side will throw a bit of a spanner in the works this weekend. I don't think they'll win the game. Don't think they'll win. But I think they can take a point off of Arsenal. If they continue to show no fear, if they continue to go to attack with a directness and a penetrative tactic, whatever you want to call it, they can definitely hurt Arsenal. They can definitely hurt Arsenal by doing that. Alternatively, of course, Arsenal can hurt them. It's not exactly like it's a watertight defence that Aston Villa have. I mean, they conceded 3 to Brighton midweek. Prime example. So Arsenal can obviously cause some damage at the other end as well. But I just think the form that Aston Villa are in, if they throw a bit of caution to the wind, if they obviously decide not to cower away like other teams have, if they kind of take what Chelsea did a little bit, and a little bit of what Sunderland even did a little bit, and maybe even a little bit of what Liverpool did at the beginning of the season to Arsenal. If they can take some inspiration and encouragement from those games, they can definitely hurt Arsenal. Alternatively, like I say, Arsenal can hurt Villa. We know all about their main threats. We know all about Eze. We know all about Saka. We know about this insane Mikel Merino guy who has turned from CDM to one of the most prolific strikers right now. What the hell is that all about? It's absolutely bizarre. It's crazy, and I can't believe I just said that sentence. Mikel Merino, prolific striker, but there we are. That's the reality of the situation right now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. I can't wait for this game to unfold before our very eyes. I'm very much looking forward to it. Like I say, a draw is what I'm going with. And I think that will give encouragement to the likes of Man City, for example. And especially because Arsenal play before City. So if City go into that game against Sunderland knowing that Arsenal drop points, that could be big for Pep Guardiola's side. But at the same time, look, Villa, there's a good chance for them as well. And I know that the likelihood is that Arsenal win. I know that Arsenal managed to grind it out because they are very, very good right now. But what I will say is that in a similar way that I said last week, if Arsenal win, that's it. That's game over. That's checkmate. That is game, set and match for the title, in my opinion. I don't see anybody catching Arsenal if they are to win this game. So I'm going 2-2. I wouldn't be surprised though. I wouldn't be surprised if Villa win. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal win. But I'm calling it down the middle. There you have it, guys. Thank you all for watching and listening. But as always, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever I call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys are thinking and feeling. So drop your predictions down below in the comments section. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new and want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Premier League predictions video. And I'll soon speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.